Hey there, everybody. I'm James Milan. This is the Town Hall Update, and we've got a lot to talk about today. Often say that, but that's the case today as well. So we're going to hear about a $1 million earmark toward the design of the Mystic River Path connection to the Minuteman Bikeway. There's 2 technical grants to support neighborhood electrification and artist live-work programs. A partnership between Arlington's Prevention Services and the Arlington Housing Authority to install 10 Nalox boxes at Housing Authority properties, 2 new public watering stations in town just in time for summer, and National Public Works Week. So, as I mentioned, lots to talk about. Jim Feeney joins us, our town manager, as always. Jim, let me start by saying congratulations. Town meeting is over. We'll take whatever you've got to give us today because you must be running on fumes.
Indeed, it was a long night. Thank you, James. A couple quick reminders. We do have the Memorial Day ceremony happening this Monday, May 25th, starting at 9 a.m. That will be in the Town Hall Auditorium as always. And then we'll ultimately proceed to the Mount Pleasant Cemetery, and we should wrap up sometime around noon. So please do join us, but also our Veteran Services Director is still seeking help this Saturday to continue placing flags on veteran graves in advance of the ceremony. They will be doing this work on Saturday, May 23rd from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. You don't need to sign up. You can just drop in, meet at the cemetery vault near the administration building. So we have that. We did just graduate the 6th cohort of the Civic Academy this past week. So I want to again congratulate and thank those folks for their participation with this 6th cohort. We've now graduated 112 residents from what has really become a popular program. Always good to see the Civic Academy alums. Saw some of them at town meeting last night, and they are continuing their engagement with the community. Some are joining committees, becoming election poll workers, and running for seats as town meeting members, as I said. So just want to mention that, say thank you, but also note that we'll be running another session in the fall, so look out for the applications this summer.
And I'll just throw in that, I know that you guys really hope for these kinds of outcomes coming out of the Civic Academy where people are more civically engaged as a result. But I know that it's also just open for people's education and illumination. And it's just such a great program. I'm really glad to hear that there's such concrete results going on.
You really get to meet a lot of the employees that run a lot of the public-facing departments, learn all about the budget, the services we provide. So it's a great opportunity if you're just interested in learning more about the town.
Great.
And then today, Thursday, May 21st, is Global Accessibility Awareness Day. So the purpose of this day is to get everyone talking and learning about digital access and inclusion and the more than 1 billion people around the world with disabilities and impairments that will benefit from this work. So I will highlight a recent digital accessibility effort we undertook earlier this year with our move to the new Agendas and Minutes platform, which we launched at the turn of the year. And that allowed us to unify the thousands of meeting documents that we generate annually into one system and to launch standardized templates that are accessible. So this will go a long way to improving access to these really important documents, but also advance our digital ADA compliance goals. So it's, through efforts like that and a lot of training, monitoring of our website, and ongoing awareness efforts with staff, all these efforts coordinated by our communications team, that we will be better positioned to meet our accessibility obligations as an organization in advance of the Department of Justice's compliance deadline for a community of our size, which is April of 2028. So a lot of work to do. We have a lot of people that are thinking about digital ADA compliance year round. And today we take, this moment to bring awareness to the work we're doing, but the work that's happening elsewhere on that score.
Well, that's great news as well. I have to say, in addition to all of the stuff I did mention at the outset, I didn't even include the next item, which is Community Preservation Act, CPA, which has had a big impact on the community and celebrating an anniversary.
Indeed. Hard to believe that we've already had the Community Preservation Act here in Arlington for 10 years. So this past week, we actually had a celebration marking the 10-year anniversary. We did that during town meeting, right, as a sort of a landmark milestone. So we brought together the residents, the elected officials, community members, and reflected on the investments we've made over the past decade in the town's open spaces, historic resources, community housing, and recreational facilities. Since adopting the CPA, Arlington has been leveraging, our own local surcharge with the state match that we get annually to fund dozens of projects that have shaped the character of the Arlington community. So from the preservation of our historic landmarks to the creation and support of affordable housing in town, our CPA funds have touched nearly every corner of the Arlington community. So each year, just as a primer, we have our Community Preservation Act Committee, which reviews a number of applications and reviews the projects and makes a recommendation to town meeting for which projects to fund. And over these 10 years, we've helped direct over $23 million towards various projects among the categories that I mentioned earlier. Some examples for people to know that maybe sort of things they've experienced are the renovation of the Robbins Farm Park and Playground, the Arlington Reservoir Beach, the creation of housing at Downing Square and over on Broadway, the rehab of the Whittemore Robbins Estate, and the Jason Russell House, owned by the Historical Society, and now the beginning of the restoration work of the town hall building that is shown behind us. So we just used this 10-year milestone as an opportunity to honor those who championed the program initially and throughout the years, and to look ahead to how CPA funding will continue to address the evolving needs of our community. So if you want to learn more or see more about the projects, visit arlingtonma.gov/community preservation.
Can I just make sure that I heard you right? Did you say 23 million has been distributed for various projects over these last 10 years?
That is correct, and that 23 million has leveraged tens of millions of dollars more in other outside grant funds, as well as state and federal housing funds after we've provided the local match.
Wow, truly worthy of celebration. So congratulations to everybody involved with that. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the Mystic River path connection to the bikeway.
Sure. So we recently, and I know ACMi was there, thank you, had the opportunity to accept $1 million earmark and thank Congresswoman Catherine Clark as she secured these funds that will go toward the design of the Mystic River path connection to the Minuteman Bikeway. So this project builds on a detailed feasibility study that was shaped by the community a few years ago, back in 2022. Since it's been a while, just to remind folks, this project aims to expand the regional trail network and create a safer, more connected transportation option for walking and biking, and that will be between the Mystic River and the Minuteman Bikeway. So it will certainly serve a wide range of users and mobility needs through shared use paths, pedestrian connections, and bike facilities. Safety and accessibility are certainly central goals of this project. So we'll need to redesign some intersections and improve ADA access throughout the corridor. So we'll try to balance, the desire and need to make transportation safety improvements with protection of the Mystic River and the lower Mystic Lakes natural character in the open spaces that are provided for there. So the planned enhancements include wayfinding, seating, gathering spaces, scenic overlooks, just all intending to provide a more welcoming public experience.
It's already an extremely well-used kind of corridor, as anybody who passes through there knows. And so to actually improve the safety, the convenience, and the connection itself is, it's going to be paying dividends immediately, I'm sure.
Sure. And, with these earmark funds, it'll help us proceed towards a shovel-ready design plan. So we're going to be looking for input on the community for that. So if this project sounds interesting to you, we are forming a Mystic to Minuteman Bikeway design review committee, which we do have opening for 2 sort of at-large community members. So if you're interested in serving on this new committee, and if you want to learn more about the project, what the time commitments may be, and how to apply, visit the committee openings page on the town's website. The deadline is going to be June 14th.
All right, thanks for that, Jim. Moving on, I had mentioned there's a couple of technical assistance awards. They total almost $70,000, and tell us about those.
Yep, so again, more grant money heading towards Arlington. We'll be receiving some technical assistance from the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, also known as MAPC, for two different initiatives. The first is the Neighborhood Electrification Project, which we will be undertaking in partnership with the town of Acton, which is also a fossil fuel-free demonstration community, and they also have an ambitious goal of to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. So in service of this goal, which we both have, Arlington and Acton will be working with the MAPC staff to develop plans for what we call neighborhood-wide electrification efforts. And this project will support outreach to kickstart this type of energy transition at the community level. So we're starting to think about it beyond household by household, but maybe street by street and neighborhood by neighborhood to make sort of more widespread but more ambitious strides towards achieving our goals over time. And then the second program is called Arlington's Artist Live Work program. So we will again be working with MAPC to create what we're going to call, it should be a fairly robust Artist Live Work program. As a refresher, back in 2021, Arlington's town meeting approved Artist Live Work is an allowed use in our industrial zones. So that is, it established this as the only type of housing that will be permitted in our industrial zones. So this would create essentially protected housing and workspaces for artists and other creatives who are increasingly being displaced from urban areas and develop much needed community gathering spaces, hopefully for community events. We've seen a sort of steady decline in those types of spaces over the past 15 years. So this initiative is aimed at trying to curtail that, and we're hopeful that with MAPC's expertise, Arlington can provide a roadmap for other towns in the region looking to create artist housing. So more information can be found on the planning section of the town's website.
So again, more grant money coming into town, as you mentioned, and going to very much concrete benefits that many of us will experience. So again, more kind of good news of that sort, which we never get tired of, I gotta say. So Arlington Prevention Services and the Arlington Housing Authority are kind of combining to expand overdose prevention possibilities. Tell us about that, please.
Another valuable partner in the community that we're always looking to work with is the Arlington Housing Authority. So Prevention Services, which is within the Department of Health and Human Services here in town, has partnered with the Housing Authority to install 10 NALOX boxes across 5 different Housing Authority properties in town. So these wall-mounted NALOX boxes will give residents and staff around-the-clock access to Narcan, which is a medication that reverses opioid overdoses. So it's sort of a similar concept to how you may see an AED in a cabinet in a public building, or a fire extinguisher in a cabinet in a public building for use by anyone should an emergency situation present. So Prevention Services purchased the boxes using some of our national opioid settlement funds, which are designed to abate the opioid crisis through treatment, prevention, harm reduction, and recovery services within our community. We've used the fund recently also to invest in some life-saving CPR technology that our fire department uses, and to launch our regional peer recovery program. So there are quite a few initiatives underway with these funds, but just want hats off to our Prevention Services team for working with the community to make Narcan more readily available in the event it's needed.
Okay, and the next item is very topical, especially with the blast of summer heat that we just suffered this week, and that is a couple of more public water refill stations going up.
Yep, our public water refill network has expanded recently. So this is part of the Arlington on Tap initiative, which was launched in 2022 alongside the town's retail ban on single-use plastic water bottles that were under 1 liter. So since then, the town has been working with Zero Waste Arlington to build a growing network of public water refill stations, i.e. bottle filling stations, that will provide residents and visitors with convenient access to clean, fresh drinking water. So recently we added 2 locations, which brings us to a total of 7 stations. The 2 new stations are at Parallel Playground and at Arlington High School near the Pierce Field, so also serves the athletic complex. So these stations are operational seasonally between the months of April and October.
Makes sense. A welcome addition for sure. Okay, let's finish up, at least I think, the official agenda for today, talking about National Public Works Week and maybe a little more than that.
Sure. So at their meeting earlier this week, the Select Board recognized May 17th through 23rd as Public Works Week here in Arlington. That, of course, coincides with National Public Works Week, organized by the American Public Works Association. So it's a time to stop and recognize the hardworking staff of Arlington's DPW for the service they provide to the community year-round. This week, we've been doing our best to highlight the department on social media. So if you do follow the town of Arlington on Facebook, certainly please take a moment to drop a comment showing your appreciation for DPW's work maintaining our infrastructure, which of course is a vital service they provide and really contributes to the high quality of life we enjoy here in Arlington. And then beyond that, I do have 2 other what I'll call Public Works related announcements. The first, the Arbor Day Foundation did name Arlington a 2025 Tree City USA in honor of our commitment to plant, grow, and maintain trees to the benefit of the community. This is the town's 23rd year with this recognition, which is remarkable. We also received what's called a Growth Award for demonstrating improved levels of tree care, community engagement. So this will be our 7th year achieving that award. And as a sort of reminder of the work we're doing, I know just down the Park Ave Hill here on Mass Ave, this week residents may be noticing a couple lines of new street trees in the Heights Business District, which were planted over the course of this week by our forestry division within Public Works.
Yeah, I just want to urge people to just think about what you've just said for a second. 23rd year in a row as it's designated in that way. Those are the kinds of numbers that Arlington compiles on a national scale, and I think that we should again never take those things for granted.
Sure. And a lot of effort goes into that tree canopy management. I want to recognize obviously the work of our Public Works Tree or Forestry Division, Arlington's Tree Committee, who is instrumental in preparing some of these new initiatives, as well as our tree warden and the many in the community who help us adopt trees and help water them throughout the year. So thank you all for your service to our tree canopy.
Yeah, there's really a lot of people involved there. All right, anything else?
One more thing. I want to just give kudos to a beloved employee who you may very well be familiar with. Charlotte Millarn will be retiring from the town of Arlington after 14 years of dedicated service as our recycling coordinator. Charlotte will leave quite the legacy in town, having moved forward several popular initiatives while significantly reducing the town's waste over the course of her tenure. So you may know her for creating and expanding the Reuse and Recycle Center, starting the Swap Shed, launching the Feed Fido composting bins around town, as well as the very popular Fix-It clinics. She created the annual EcoFest program, but most of all, she provided exceptional customer service to all of our residents day in and day out. So just wanted to take a moment to thank her for her service and wish her well in retirement.
She did pretty well. All right, well, thank you very much. Jim Feeney has joined us once again for the Town Hall update. And man, you just heard it. The guy knows. He comes out of town meeting, barely gets any sleep last night, arrives this morning, and is on top of a whole bunch of information for us. So again, it's been a theme today. Let's not take things for granted. Let's not take this for granted either. Appreciate you being able to do that with us. Appreciate you guys being here to join us for this informative Town Hall update. I'm James Milan. We will definitely see you next time.